Hi everyone, my name is Anna Toller Ellington, and today I'm going to be sharing my presentation with you entitled Pulling the Trigger on Gun Violence. Just a forewarning before I start, I do want to let everyone know that this is a heavy topic and I do understand that, but I did want to forewarn you guys, before you watch this, or maybe if there's, young kids in the room, I wouldn't want anyone to be offended or frightened per se. But I want to share something that I'm passionate about and really work to persuade my audience on why something doesn't just need to be done, but something has to be done about this. According to the Washington Post, there have already been more than 300 mass shootings this year in the United States. If that wasn't enough to shock you, PBS News stated the leading cause of death among children in 2020 was gun-related injuries. This must stop. Gun violence is on the rise and we must take a stand. Yes, I do know that one of these quotes and pieces of factual evidence is from 2020, but the first from the Washington Post is from this year. And regardless, our statistics continue to rise. They're not falling, they're continuing to rise. And the fact that in 2020, the lead cause of death among children was gun-related injuries lets me know that without a doubt, it is the same right now. Why is this so important to me personally? I have 4 teachers in my family: my mother-in-law, my sister, my brother-in-law, and some other close family members as well. And among them, they have several children who will one day be in school. Some of them already are. I shouldn't have to fear for their lives every day when they simply go to work or to school. Yes, I know that these shootings are not just occurring in schools, but it does seem to be a trend that we are constantly seeing mass shootings happen in schools, which is why this is in particular so important to me. But unfortunately, right now in the world we're living in, you can't seem to go anywhere without being fearful about gun violence. Stop for a moment, if you will, and think about this. At this point, sending your loved one into a school or simply out into society today is just as dangerous, if not more so, than sending them into war. We are ignoring an issue that cannot simply be pushed to the side, as it will only continue to get worse. To this day, according to the Online Gun Violence Archive, the total number of gun violence deaths per year is actually 24,907. And that's just this year alone, 24,907. That's over 150 people per day that are dying from gun-related violence. I'm sure this is not a topic that you're unfamiliar with hearing about recently, the shooting in Texas. This is an image from that shooting, which I'm sure most of you have heard about. 21 innocent people lost their lives from this shooting alone in just one day. These children you see running out of this building, terror, and yet at the same time, relief on their faces that they're running out of the building to be reunited with their families in their whole bodies safely, as they know not everyone has that opportunity on this day. Maya Cerillo. Who is Maya Cerillo? Maya Cerillo is an 11-year-old girl who simply went to school on Tuesday, May 24th, 2022. She could have been, and almost was, one of the innocent children that lost their lives that day. Maya testified about that day, sharing that in order to keep herself alive, she covered herself in another student's blood to trick the shooter into thinking she was already dead. No one should have to go through this. But imagine your child, or maybe a younger sibling or cousin or niece, nephew, sitting in a classroom, terrified by a shooter with what was relatively endless rounds of ammunition, covering themselves with another person's, a dead person's blood just to stay alive. And to make matters even worse, this wasn't just a one-time incident. There have been, just this year, 27 school shootings. All of these children, parents, teachers, humans will remember these moments for the rest of their lives. They will need counseling, mental health support, and so much more. So, what can we do? According to Prevention Institute, there are several things we can and should be doing to prevent gun violence. So first, the Institute shares that we should implement sensible gun laws, reduce easy access to dangerous weapons by banning high-capacity magazines and bump stocks, requiring universal background checks without loopholes, instituting waiting periods, and reinstitution the assault weapons ban immediately. Secondly, I wanted to share in an article from June 10th, 2022, the American Hospital Association shared, even raising the topic could be viewed as a transparent attempt to compromise or infringe on the Second Amendment. It is not. The evidence and justification for taking decisive action is indisputable, even prior to the horrific shootings in Uvalde, Texas, Buffalo, New York, and other parts of the country. And not only that, if this wasn't enough, the American Hospital Association also shared that after reviewing data from recent years in national vital statistics reports from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, researchers at the Westchester Medical Center in New York reported on February 22nd, 2022, that firearms were the leading cause of trauma-related deaths in the US, overtaking motor vehicle crashes as the top cause of years of potential life lost. In the decade that researchers reviewed, firearms accounted for 12.6 million years of potential life lost. Does this make you scared? In essence, maybe it should. But I urge you to go from here and to speak up about the facts on gun violence, to share what you've learned, to go do research, find out more information on how you can help and why this is so very important. And secondly, please don't view this implementation as taking away your rights, but rather giving more individuals the right to live and to live safely. I thank you so much for sharing your time with me today, and I truly hope that you go from here and help be part of the change in the society to stop gun violence, and let's pull the trigger on it once and for all. Thank you.